Chris MIMIC Basso, welcome, finally, to Wrestle Radio Australia.
Finally. Thanks, Todd. Thanks for having me here. It's a pleasure.
It's almost like we've just done this before.
Oh, I know. Well, almost.
Almost.
We're just too good at this.
I know, right?
It failed.
Oh, dear.
Anyway.
All right, now, how did you find wrestling, and what attracted you to the sport?
How did I find wrestling?
Yeah, how did you find it?
It was probably after a trip down to the local video store, Civic Video, I think, with my brother and a friend or two maybe, and we just saw some videos and we thought it was all real, and we were really ultra young and it was amazing, and we were sort of drawn into it from there. That would have been early 90s. We would have started watching it maybe mid 90s, not early 90s. It would have been like way too young then. But yeah, so maybe mid 90s, somewhere around there.
You would have been too young.
I would have been too young, for sure.
How did you fall into like training for pro wrestling? Because I remember hearing somewhere you were doing, I know.
Yeah.
You're doing freestyle type wrestling.
Yeah, so we started doing some freestyle at high school. It was a couple of classes that were organised by one of my teachers. She was a kickboxer, so she was really big on her. Like when she was running PE classes, she was doing like a lot of kickboxercise and boxercise and sort of fitness stuff for kids. And then those who were interested could go and do these extra classes after school. And she brought in a few coaches and stuff, and that was really cool. And we got started from there. We were training under David Schumacher, not to be confused with Michael, because he wouldn't. That's too soon. Okay, so not to be confused by the great race car driver. He was in the 56 Olympics, and he was just this little guy rocked up wearing spandex, and we were a bit freaked out for a start, because we didn't know what we were getting ourselves into, but it was great.
Did you know you'd spend the most of your adult life?
Exactly right. I mean, it was a start. It wasn't quite what we wanted to do yet, but it was a start at least.
So is the freestyle the whole, like, on the floor?
Yeah. You start from stand-up, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but then...
Oh, that's right, yeah, and if there's a penalty, then...
Yeah, then they go back down. Yeah.
See, I've watched that a little bit.
Oh, I know, we all do.
Yeah.
How devastated were you when the wrestling was cut from the Olympics, PS?
I know.
Oh, mate.
But only because that is one of the original Olympic sports.
Exactly. And also because it's wrestling.
Yeah, but it's Greco-Roman.
It's better than the 50-kilometre walk.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Or what's it? Well, for the Winter Olympics, the ice dancing.
Oh, ice dancing.
It says right there, it's dancing. It's not
on ice.
An actual sport.
Is Disney on ice a new Olympic sport?
Depends how fast Mickey can skate, I guess.
That's right. Is there a whole team of Mickeys?
Whole team of Mickeys.
Yeah, Disney on ice. Someone book that. Anyway. So when you were growing up, were you more an attitude kid, or did you watch any WCW, or was it all just... Yeah, well, I think a lot of the guys from like about my age were all in the same boat. We got whatever we could find from the video stores, whatever they were selling at your local CD store, like Sanity. They used to stock the odd movie or the odd wrestling video cassette. Other than that, it was whatever was on TV late at night, like your WWF Superstars. WCW Nitro was on really late, I believe, like 1 or 2 o'clock or something.
You would have loved me. I worked in a video store.
Well, there you go.
So I ordered in all the wrestling videos.
Why didn't you tell me?
I didn't know you.
Well, that's fair enough. I was probably a lot younger than you at this stage. I still am.
I just hide it well. So.
That's right. Yeah. There you go. So yeah, that was it. That was how we got into it.
That was how we got into it.
A lot of watching, a lot of taping, a lot of tape swapping between mates, and just really just trying to get as much as we could.
So did you just set out to actually just like go, I want to be a pro wrestler, or was it more the freestyle sort of graduated into?
Well, the freestyle was really just because we didn't know where we could do pro wrestling, and we were doing a bit of... We played some fairly serious football, myself and my brother. Played for West Adelaide all through the juniors, and we played we were playing a lot of cricket and a lot of traditional sports. And then we got into this freestyle wrestling, and that was really about it. Like from there, we thought, hey, we got to keep going with this. And the gym we were training at.
Did you ever do comps? Like,
no, we did like internal comps, like between our own guys, but it was never full on serious
making weights and stuff like that.
No. It was never. We never got to that stage. We were only doing it for maybe 9 months or something.
Oh, okay.
Maybe a bit, but that was just before we found out that there was this facility that we could train at.
Cool.
But yeah, when we stopped doing it at the school, like at our actual high school, our teacher told us that there was where she trains in the city had a ring. Little did we know it was actually a wrestling ring that had been converted to a kickboxing ring. It was owned by J&A's Fitness Academy through John Chaniotis there. He bought this ring off of Goldavani back in the day. So it was like an old school wooden beam ring. And I believe he actually sold it on, and it was again resurrected to be used as a wrestling ring.
Oh, okay.
And so we
reconverted.
Exactly. So all they did was they just chopped up the spring in the middle. It still had a spring. It still had a canvas, except it had no padding on it, or like minimal padding. It had like one layer of underlay or something on it.
Yeah.
The ropes were real high, so that was how they could use it as kickboxing. And there were no corner pads as such, like wrestling style. It was more that
one pad.
kickboxing, the big one pad, which we subsequently destroyed hardcore.
I think it's weird. I watched New Japan the other night, and they still use the one pad.
Yeah, or even a round pad.
Yeah,
that's bizarre.
Yeah.
Looks cool though. I don't know if anyway, it'd be awkward to use, but so yeah, we did that, and yeah, that was it.
So when did you get your first start actual match?
Well, when we were training at this place, we had a call. Like, there was a few of us that were training down there, and when I say training, that's in the loosest of terms possible. It was we started by going there just doing like your sort of shoot grappling and your freestyle stuff, and we had a coach come down for the first couple, and we had some other guys that were down there show us some stuff, but it was a bit more Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu stuff. It was just showing some holds and some counters and stuff. Then we had like the gym had a phone call from Goldavani asking, or he heard that we had that there were wrestlers down at this gym, and if they want to come and do an exhibition. And it was then that we sort of realized, like, oh god, this is a legit thing. This is not just like, wow, okay, cool, like this is an honor, but wow, we've got to really try and put something together in like here. And of course we're doing everything wrong during the match. We were like whipping from the wrong hand, and we were bumping. We were shown how to bump and how to break fall, but yeah, we were, because it had ropes, and we sort of worked out the ropes for ourselves, but we did everything on the opposite side through our freestyle wrestling. Grappling was the wrong foot forward and stuff. So we were grappling still like freestyle wrestling, but doing pro wrestling moves.
It's like a hybrid.
Yeah, it was like sort of.
That's what you.
It was something. It was definitely something, Todd. But yeah, so we debuted in I think it would have been maybe 2003, early 2003 or late 2002. And again, debut in the loosest of terms possible. It was.
So were you the Mimic character then?
Well, we weren't really any characters then.
You were just.
But we had nothing. Like we were just mucking around, So we just threw something together, and I think Matty was a clown, and I think I wore a jester hat.
Was that Dragon?
Yeah, that was Dragon. Yeah, and I think I was actually called Mimic, I think. Yeah, but it was really, really quite interesting to watch. And it still gets brought out every now and then whenever someone's trying to, hey Creed, check this out, and then bang, they'll press play, and then you go, oh god, I know what I'm watching. It's good. It's real good.
Hands on that.
But that was at PWSA, the Octagon Theatre, in front of maybe 700 people or something.
Wow.
Yeah, it was huge. Yeah. And
so when you walked
match.
out the curtain, you just walked out. And
we had no clue what we were going to experience. We had no clue. Our only one saving grace was that we had done this sort of semi-exhibition night down at J&A's when they were doing a whole kickboxing, boxing, wrestling like exhibition thing for their members, similar to what we do like a gym show. So it was like that. So that was in front of maybe 200 people as well. Like, it was pretty packed, or maybe it was a lot less than that. It seemed like a lot of the time.
Seemed like a lot. Yeah.
It was anywhere from 1 to 1,000, right? Anywhere between there, right? You can gauge that. Yeah, so we did this little show. We did 3 matches, and we should have gone out there and wrestled for like 5 minutes and kept it real, short and sharp. But we did 3 matches back to back, and I think like we all went for 10 minutes plus. And there were
pretty sure it's about time.
I'm pretty sure it was 10 minutes plus. Yeah. Somewhere around there.
Yes, anywhere worked in the joke.
From 1 minute to 1,000. Yeah. That was good. It was.
That was for you, Brad, if you ever listen to this.
Thanks, Mr. Smithy.
All right. So you moved on from PWSA, was it?
Yep, PWSA.
You moved to Snake Pit?
Well, no, we we were like our own, like we were nothing at the time. We were just a bunch of kids, and then we went and sort of started training with PWSA, who at the time I think changed their name to MPW, and I'm like, I used to really know all of my local wrestling history, but times have not been good to me. You know, the whole wedding and everything. Yeah. Forget a lot of stuff.
You know, chair shots will do stuff.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure there was one name change by the time we started training, or it was as we started training. We were training down at the Monster Factory, and we were there for quite some time. Like it was well over a year that I was training down there. And I think Matty was down there. He was down there for quite a bit as well. Damien Matthews was down there. It was just after Damian Slater had gone down, so he'd been down, and I think he was training there for maybe 6 months or so, and then we came down because we all knew each other. Like it was him, Darryl Wild, they were down there too, and Blake was down there. Blake Mitchell, he was training there for a while. And yeah, and then it sort of went from there. Brad Mason was across as well, and there was a whole sort of bunch of us that weren't really young rookies. We were like, you know, maybe 15, or we was like, I think the youngest one of us was maybe 15, and like I think I was the oldest. I was the only one with my license. Like I was doing all the driving, so I would have been maybe 16 or 17 when I started. So we all sort of came in at once, and we were all sort of together there for a while. And then where was I going with this?
I can't remember.
What was the question? Do you remember?
Like if you started at Snake.
Okay, and then at Snake. Okay, and then from there we did a few shows there. Under a couple of different banners under the MPW, under Joint Promotions Wrestling, or JPW as well. And then we like a couple of the guys were talking to us about the Monster Factory potentially closing down. And then it did not long afterwards, but in the meantime, sort of a few people had sort of gone off and started to get something together for themselves. Like one of those was us with Tony Stone. He was going to start his own gym. So once the Monster Factory actually shut, he did start his own gym. And we then had sort of created RCW like a few months prior, maybe 2 months prior, under Tony's watch. Like he was sort of watching over us, and you know, when his gym was ready, we were going to come down there. So we were sort of just establishing ourselves and trying to work the kinks out of a couple of shows and stuff, and that was pretty cool. Because of course we've been doing some stuff before that for a year under a different banner that shall not be spoken of. So we sort of had a rough idea what we were doing, and then we went off and started training with Tony at the Snake Pit. So it was Tony Stone, there was TJ Rush, and they were two of the guys that we trained with at the Monster Factory.
So when did Johnny rock up to the Snake Pit then?
Well, Johnny was still with Joint Promotions. They were still promoting shows.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So this entire time...
So that was Johnny Raddick.
Johnny Raddick, yeah. So this entire time, I think we'd been training at the Monster Factory for maybe 3 or 4 months, and we had the opportunity to buy a ring from Frank Carpenter. So we did. Myself, Matty, Joe, Greco, amazing man, Nath, and Dan. So the two Greco lads as well. So we all bought this ring, we all chipped in and we bought this ring, and then we were hiring it out to Joint Promotions. And we were also hiring it out to ourselves. And we paid this thing off in a year, you know, it was great. So then we had our own ring and we could go do our own things. Horrible bump with the ring. It was horrible.
Is it the black one everyone talks about?
It was a blue canvas.
The blue one, sorry.
Yeah, blue canvas, but just the spring had like no give on it. Yeah, it was great. Really low ropes as well, really low.
Because when I started training, it was like, oh, you got no idea.
Yeah. Well, back then we used to bump on one mat, like when we first started. It was like it was like months and months of bumping on one mat.
I think that's why Matt makes us do that.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Mate, training is so much different nowadays. Like so much different. Back in the day, like Jesus, back in the day. Right, ignore that. I'll start that again. When I started training, and it was the same with everyone that was down there, you were bumping on one mat, and everyone would do the warm-ups on one mat. No one would be in the ring. We'd all be warming up like in a line, and there'd be a mule down, and we'd just be bump, 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 like forward bumps, and then they go back bumps, bump, 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 and then you start doing small moves, and then slowly people would filter into the ring.
Progress.
So then all the pros are in the ring, while all us rookies were still out on the outside, just doing smaller moves and lockups and holds and shit, and being taught by Cole, where he could oversee that. And then the guys were taken in the ring by someone more experienced. That was back at the Monster Factory. But again, man, I've wandered. Where were we?
No, you're right. Just...
That was good. So So Johnny was still promoting Joint Promotions,
Yep.
I believe, or it was being promoted by someone, maybe Blas or someone. And Tony Stone was running the Monster Factory, and then I think at the time he just had a child. And he had some personal things, and not the Monster Factory. He was running the Snake Pit Wrestling Academy. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And then he went through some personal stuff, I think, and had his child. And I think there were some dramas with his job or something. I can't remember off the top of my head. But he had to close the Snake Pit Wrestling Academy.
Okay.
At the time, though, he had started to promote some smaller shows. So we'd done a couple in the gym, which is like he's sort of the brainchild for these gym shows. We've been wanting to do them for years.
Yeah.
Cole was talking about doing it at the old Monster Factory, but we just never got off the ground. So Tony, we did maybe 3 at the old Snake Pit where we were, which is not far from the current RCW Academy.
Yep.
Yeah, we did 3 there. They were really successful. They were all pretty packed. I think the minimum we had was 50, max was maybe 70, 80. So which is good.
Fit that many in there, could you really?
In
that old gym.
The old Monster Factory?
Yeah.
No, you couldn't. No, you couldn't fit much in there. We had 2 rings set up as well, so we had to drop one.
That'd be awesome.
It was good. But yeah, so then once Tony had started to promote shows, I think he still wanted to be involved in wrestling, but just didn't have the time to do the gym anymore. And that was cool, like, everyone understood. So he kept promoting as Snake Pit Pro Wrestling, right? So a lot of our guys were on the first one, and he just used a bunch of the other guys, like your Johnnies. Just Josh was on the show. I think Buster was on the show. Dragon Spawn, TJ, he was with us at the time. And then there was a bunch of us as well, a bunch of the new guys, up and comers, and the chicks and stuff. So it was good. So we were working 2 to 3 times a month back then. It was cool. And then so then he just kept promoting.
So when did you break off to what is now RCW? Arguably. Well, voted 2 years running?
I think so.
Listen to it, I think so.
I think so.
As he leans back, folks. Voted best federation in the country 2 years running.
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm fairly sure.
So how did that come about?
10 minutes plus. Okay, so we were actually RCW. We'd sort of broken away just before the Monster Factory had closed down. There was myself, Matt, Daryl Wild, this guy called Nudes, the man known as Nudes, right? Nudes is stacked, I believe that's the saying. And Wolf Dog, right? And so he was a commentator for Snake Pit, Joint Promotions, PWSA. Used to work with Rowan and used to work with James. Cannot remember his name. Runs a bunch of hotels. Anyway, so he used to commentate. So we were together, and after we were working together with this other promotion. Starts with an X, ends in a W, and there's a vowel in the middle. It's the first one.
Yeah.
So we were working together there, just trying to get something off the ground, and then that name was sort of taken away from us, which was sort of a blessing in disguise, really. As at the time, we were like, oh, it's just a name, who cares? And I don't think it was meant like that. I think it was meant to be a big uproar, but we didn't really care. We just went, okay, we'll just get a new name, whatever. So we did. We got a bunch of names together and we voted on a name, and the next thing, Right City Wrestling was on. So I think it would have been the start of 2006 we had our first show. And we had a crossover show in between when the unnamed promotion stopped promoting shows. That was us as a committee. And RCW started. There was one crossover show. It was called Pandemonium, and there was no name. There was no promotion running the show. It was just it was.
Yeah, literally.
It was at St. Luke's Church in the city. Yeah, it was pretty funny.
How hard is it to get? Because you would have been fairly young guys at the time. How hard was it to rent places to just say, look, we want to put on a wrestling event?
Well, what was great for us back then, just before RCW started, Joe Greco was still heavily involved because we owned the ring with him, right? So the ring was still at his house, so he was really heavily involved. He would do a lot of that.
No,
because
okay.
he was older. He wasn't like 19, 20. He was.
Excuse me, can I rent your face?
Can I please apply for some public liability insurance and a liquor license? Not quite like that,
No.
but you know what I mean. So when we would have to go and do something, we would really make ourselves really presentable. We would not so much suit up, but we would be nice shirt and pants and
Tie the dreadlocks back.
yeah, tie the dreadlocks back. I generally sent Maddie in there. But like we had some polos and stuff that we wore, which were like black and green and
I think
stuff. And
Joe still wears those polos.
yeah, we had them, and they were cool.
Yeah, I
At least it made
I
it look
wanted,
like-
I wanted to wear some for commentary.
Yeah, for sure, polos, man.
Yeah.
That's where it's at. Pop the collar
Boom.
when you on the polo. But anyway, so yeah, that's how we
It's
started.
so bloody hot.
Yeah, I know.
And you're all
Yeah.
out there in like no shirts,
Yeah.
and you're cool. I'm under hot lights in a full suit, going, "This sucks."
Yeah, but you should feel those lights out there.
I do. I'm in the middle of the ring.
Okay, you're in the middle. Do some running and some jumps
No, I
and
don't,
some
I don't
squats.
do that.
Yeah,
I
okay.
don't do that.
Yeah, that's where it's at.
Ah, squats are where it's at, yo.
Squats where it's at.
Alright, so how did you come up with the mimic gimmick? It rhymes.
That does rhyme.
was thinking about
That's
that
good.
today.
It's not a pun.
not
Let's
a
just
pun.
clarify that. It's
No.
a rhyme.
Nah.
Okay, it's good. So I have no clue.
Oh, really?
Yeah, don't know. Can't remember. Neither can Maddie. It was just that long ago, and
I'm going to put face paint on
yeah,
random dots
Yeah.
and lines across my face.
exactly. Yeah,
It
that was like.
wasn't like I watched Sting and thought that's pretty cool. I'm gonna
No. Well, the face paint really came about because we were coming out with this band. Like we did this show with the unnamed promotion back in the day. That was we had Mark from Brandon Promotions. He promotes these bands, and like back when nu metal was really big in Adelaide. That's right, nu metal was big in Adelaide. You better believe it. Breakers, Pool Hole, Little Rocks. You know what I'm talking about. So we were playing with these bands, right? And we were drawing okay. Like we drew a couple of hundred, and we did a show out at Bridgeway with Diatribe and Skintilla, and that was cool. And then we did a show with these guys called Tidal, and we used to go watch them all the time. And they used to come out with full UV lights, and they used to play full painted up, full white gear, in full nu metal like.
Well, you saw that and thought that's pretty cool.
Well, we knew these guys. Like we used to go to their gigs so much. We were having beers with them afterwards and stuff.
Ah.
And they were like older guys, like not like, pedos. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But these were rad dudes, and like so we were going to these gigs and we would shout them a beer afterwards or something, and they were like, hey, we're wrestlers, and they came to some shows, and then there was sort of a mutual friendship there.
Are they the ones that wrote the song?
Yeah, they wrote that song.
Yeah.
Yeah. That does have a name. It's called XAW, that song. Yeah. Which was the name of the promotion. Funny you should say that.
I didn't say it.
No. It was funny you should mention about the song. Anyway, so those guys, they played an intro song for me, and they said you should come out in some face paint. And I said, yeah, cool, no worries. So I just came out in white face paint. And then I was like, well, this is a bit boring. So then I just put a line down it and put some dots on the side, and then I kept doing it.
And boom.
Yeah. And then I couldn't stop doing it. Because it was sort of started. And then we tried to stop it, and everyone was like, why aren't you wearing any face paint anymore?
Now you only wear it when you're serious.
That's right. I'm deadly serious.
When you're deadly serious.
When
the paint comes out.
I'm so serious that like 3 minutes into the match, I need my sweat to drip the paint into my eyes and for my eyes to start stinging. That's when.
Is that when you remembered how much you didn't like it?
Yeah, straight up. I never wore that grease paint stuff either. Like apparently that stuff's really good.
Oh, the one that, yeah.
Yeah, but I just face paint. At one point in time, I used poster paint because I couldn't find any face paint.
Oh, what the?
Yeah, that was bad.
At least you didn't use like zinc.
Yeah. Well, it would have been sun smart.
Yeah, it would have been.
Slip, slop, slap,
Exactly.
rap, mimic.
Oh,
That doesn't work,
dear.
does it?
No.
But yeah, anyway, so I had no clue, man. No clue. It was something. I think I always used to wear paint and stuff, and then yeah, it just sort of happened from there. From those being with those guys, I just started wearing white gear and stuff, and now I've sort of drifted from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, as you do, like any good like character, sort of evolves.
Exactly.
So.
And can I just put this out there?
Yes.
We're at the evolution of the gimmick, right? It's all about
It's a hipster mimic.
It's not hipster mimic. Let's be honest here. You know what people love?
What do people love?
Zombies,
Oh, okay.
right? Now I'm not saying I'm going to be a zombie,
No.
but I love zombies, right? So I'm getting zombies in my gear. You hear that, Brad? If you guys are listening and you really like zombies, Or if you don't like zombies, in fact, if you just don't like anything, hit up Brad Smythe's professional wrestler Facebook page and just let him know about it. Okay, that'd be great. Thanks. Because zombies are rad. And
also that it was probably about 10.5 minutes, you'll find.
That's right. Definitely 10.5 minutes of zombies.
Of zombies.
For sure. God.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, okay. I'm drifting so much. It's
going to be like a full in-joke.
Yeah, definitely.
Those three of us will laugh. And that's it.
Everyone else will be like, what?
Huh?
Demons. Minutes. Exactly.
Demons.
The demons are also rad. Not quite as popular as zombies, though.
No.
Just point that out there. Anyway.
No.
Continue. Sorry, Todd.
Can I? That's all right.
You're right.
You're in a different position from a lot of other wrestlers where you founded, well, you're one of the guys that have founded RCW.
Correct.
Do you think that maybe that stopped you trying to further your career, say, overseas or even around the country because you wanted to make sure your business, your home business was strong?
It's a good question.
I know. And you've had 24 hours to think of an answer to.
Can I get a 50-50?
No.
Can I
you
phone
can't
a friend?
Phone a friend.
Damn it.
Matty will answer.
Can call Matty. He'll be at training. Bastard. Okay. Yes, I think that it has hindered it because there's anyone that's ever attempted to put together a show properly with full public liability, with full security, if they're running a bar, if they're running like a licensed venue, if they're, if it's done properly, like with good light and sound, there is a lot of stress in terms of promoting the show. Like there's a lot of stress, there's a lot of financial outlay, like each and every month. Like there'll be times when you're running short. It's just like running a small business, and that's the way we treat RCW is like a small business. So I think that it has definitely hindered where I could have been. Like I think, like whereas I knew like I needed to hit the gym. Like I really knew that I needed to hit the gym, and like I still need to hit the gym. Like everyone always does, but I mean I needed to hit it big. I mean you look at the size of the guys. Like how old was Silver?
Yeah.
Like how old was he? Like by the time I was 21, man, I would have been maybe 80 kilos, soaking wet. Like and not in great shape. I was just not in horrible shape either. Like and at the end of the day, if I really, really, really wanted to do it, there's no excuses. I could have gone and done it.
Yeah.
I could have made the time. I could have found the time.
Because I did hear stories about you were thinking of trying Japan, and then that never really affected.
Yeah, sure. I'd love to do it. Love to do Japan. I'd love to do Britain. Really love to do Britain. I think I love wrestling like a techie style. I just don't really get much of a chance to do it over here. Like when we had. God, I can't remember his name. He was wrestled as Rupert Holmes over here.
Yeah.
He has a wrestling name. Red Devil. Yeah. That's when he was over here, that was great. No, we were just shooting together and stuff.
I nearly actually said his shoot name then.
Yeah.
Stop.
Shoot name. Well, Josh Shooter.
No.
Is that Josh Shooter under that mask? God, he hides it well.
He hides its size as well.
Yeah. God. Well, anyway, yeah, like I would love to travel beyond Australia at some point in time. I really, really would. I just really wish that I could find a few extra hours in the day just to get some things done.
Yeah.
Like I'm in a really good spot now with like my personal life's all settled. I've got some great goals for like where I want to be in terms of like my non-wrestling career, in terms of like where I want to be in terms of like having a family or starting a family. Like I just got married and stuff. Like I feel really settled there, and I think now that that's settled and it's all sorted, I can concentrate a bit more on this, and I can set myself up at home, like with proper goals of stuff that I can do at home to further my wrestling career, like designing gear or stuff for RC Dub, like doing more editing and stuff, or just upgoing repairs and stuff. Like I have a huge shed, like and I've got a workshop and stuff. There's no reason why I couldn't be doing the repairs for like on the entrance and the ring and stuff and ongoing stuff. There's no reason why I couldn't do that now. But I think me personally, it really has hindered me in answer to your question. But I don't regret any of it. Like I really love what I've done, and I really think that I've done something good.
You've got to be proud of what you've got at RCW.
For sure. Like stoked, super stoked. Like I love the fact that there's such a family environment down there, and anyone who walks in and picks up on it is automatically hooked. Like if you're not there for the right reasons, you're not looking for it. If you're not in there wanting to wanting to give a bit of time and effort and to be able to dedicate a bit of something to something, or if you want to be a part of something, like, and you want to put the hard yards in there, you feel right at home at RCW, but everyone does.
Yeah. I remember it was, I think it was the awards night that really hooked Brody and I. Because of just how much of a family everyone was.
That's great.
That night.
It's great. It's one of the best locker rooms in the country. Like, it's just so much fun. Everyone is constantly positive. Except Maddie, we were packing up the trailer.
I took my, well, she's now my fiance. She was like, I think it was like our second or third date was to the awards night.
Yeah.
And she's like, how long have you known all these guys? I went, probably about a month, 2 months.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't know because you're all...
yeah, exactly.
So yeah, that's, great family. And I think that's due to the sort of the ethic or the I don't know, what do we call the values?
Exactly. Well, we have those values written up on the wall. Yeah,
I know,
and
that's on shirts.
For sure, on shirts. All over that. That's good. And like Redbubble, get on it. Right City Wrestling. Good work, Gunhound Inc. Or Gunhound, sorry. Cut out that ink. I meant Miami Inc. Because I went there recently and saw Yoji.
You don't.
I'm dragging, covering.
And you didn't get a tattoo?
I didn't. I was hanging. I almost came out with a Gears of War tattoo. That was
really?
Yeah,
that
for sure.
Nice.
Just trying to convince him. She was like, "You can do whatever you want," and I was like, "Oh, I
convince myself." Right? I know that one.
Yeah.
You know what you want. No, I can't.
Yeah. You can do what you want, but if you get a tattoo, you should definitely get it on your arm. And I thought, I just can't live with a Gears of War tattoo like right on my arm if it's my first tattoo.
I know, who'd do something stupid.
Yeah, right. Snoopy. I think my first tattoo will be on the bottom of my big toe, I think. Just so I can hide it if I really don't want it. I'm joking, man. I'm joking. So, I'm covered in tattoos.
You don't know. You don't know if you're joking sometimes.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Like, because you've stayed pretty much primarily in South Australia and in RCW, does it sort of annoy you that because of where you're based, that guys like you and your brother Matt and even Voodoo and the Armstrongs to a certain extent aren't recognised for really the talents you are? Because then this is just my opinion, you guys are up there with like the most talented guys in the country. Does it annoy you somewhat that... No, that's all right.
Thanks, man.
Does it annoy you somewhat that you're not sort of nationally recognised like that?
Yes and no. Like, at the end of the day, what we have here in RCW is we have our own little city, let's say that.
Microcosm.
Right? We have exactly. A microcosm.
Big word.
Crazy. That's a huge word.
Thank you.
Anyone know how to spell that? Yeah, I know how to spell it. It's alright. C-A-T.
Okay.
Oh,
that's spell check.
Spell check. R-O-C-K. The C is silent. Okay. Yes. But at the end of the day, if we wanted to go and travel, like, we could have been going out and working hard, pushing ourselves for bookings.
Yeah.
You know, like, we work hard in wrestling over here.
It's funny you should say that, because like this week I read that the Young Bucks were coming for, I think it's OCW, the show, and I messaged Nick Armstrong straight away. I said, try and get onto the booker and get you guys booked against those guys.
For sure.
Because it would be an awesome matchup.
It'd be great. It'd be a great experience for the guys too.
Great experience for those guys.
It'd be sensational.
Yeah.
Yeah. They'd work really well. They'd learn an absolute shitload off of those dudes.
Yeah. Well, you're talking, in my opinion, one of the best tag teams in the world today. And you can't not learn off two guys like that.
Exactly. This is right. No, that'd be good. I think the guys, like, there's so much talent over here that is unknown in other states. I don't know, that's the question that you asked me, but like you look at, not so much like your new up and comers, but like, you know, Marvel's wrestled all over the country. Like, he's been wrestling longer than most in Australia.
You wouldn't really know.
Not as Marvel, as another name.
Which remain
anonymous. So yeah, like, he's been wrestling all over the country. So anyone who would remember wrestling from back in the early 90s and
boom of it.
Maybe the late 90s, I think he was starting. 10 minutes plus. So
yeah.
To other talent as well, like, you've got guys like Grimm, who's sensational. Like, I know he's my brother and I'm supposed to say that.
Yeah.
But like, he is seriously like awe-inspiring. Like, he's His work rate is second to none.
He does have that. He's got that aura about him that when he comes out to a match, it does feel like a main event.
When he's on in Gimmick, and there is great. If there's good production, if there's at least decent speakers, even if there aren't decent speakers, he just starts yelling backstage and creating his own chaos before he comes out. But that, he just has this presence, and it needs to be seen, to be felt, and to be believed. Guys like the Armstrongs are too good to just be, just work in Adelaide, and it's good to see them. That they worked Perth last year, I believe. I think they worked Melbourne quite a few times, but I'd love to see them just getting around to, say, even Queensland. One promotion in particular over there, Sydney as well. They should definitely go over to Sydney. Guys like Brad, I think he's only ever fought interstate twice. One for BB Dub and one for MC Dub.
Yeah, that sort of shocks me because Brad's like a natural.
Yeah, natural athlete. Look at the pedigree behind him. He's Phil Smythe's bloody nephew.
Yeah, he's
good at everything. It's shit. He's good at being good.
I remember saying to him after the it was after we'd been training for a while, we were sitting there warming up, and I just said to him, "Did you ever play basketball?" And he said, "Yeah, I played a fair bit and all this." And he said, "You didn't really want to keep going?" He said, "My uncle's probably one of the greatest Australian basketballers of all time. My dad played for Australia.
Yeah,
I don't really want to follow that."
That's it. And I think his his dad's brothers or something, or someone else is also a state basketball player, and someone else is a state basketball player.
He really would be wasted in basketball. Just his personality. One of those personalities that.
Imagine how many fouls he would get.
Oh.
Yeah.
Tech fouls.
Yeah, tech for sure. Just before the game starts, he'd be out. He'd have hidden weapons and stuff, his socks, brass knucks. But yeah, there is a lot of talent that definitely needs to be seen around the country. In saying that though, DVDs are available online through rightcitywrestling.com. If anyone wants to check out some of the talent, guys like Andy Phoenix has come over here and flourished. We saw him work over in Melbourne at MC Dub and stuff, and we thought he's got a great look, and he can definitely hold his own in a match, and he's just come over here and just blown away any expectations we've ever had of him.
Yeah,
it's great to work with.
That is one guy I would like to sit down and talk to.
For sure, he's a great bloke, absolute great bloke. We've seen a lot you got new guys like your Big Brodies.
A lot of other promotions will bolster their roster or the upper part of their card with guys from interstate and the sort of the name guys, the guys with a lot of experience.
Yep.
Where you guys created your own school to do. Was that the idea behind it? Is to not to have to rely on the interstaters? And what are some of the guys that you do see a big future in?
Yes, and a lot of them. So we originally we booked a lot of interstate guys as well. We needed to. I think some of our first interstaters on the first show were Insano, Mozart. You probably never heard of him. He's been around. Did a Ladybeard gimmick before it was Ladybeard. Not quite as Ladybeardish though. He's a bit skinnier.
But who is?
Slightly a bit more feminine than Ladybeard, Yeah. But he still had a beard. And then we had guys like Steve Valek come through. These were dudes that we'd met over in Melbourne and from a touring company that had come over here, who used to work at the Estonian Hall as well. So we'd met these guys previously, exchanged details. I think Steve came down and he was working with us for maybe a year, just every month. That was just because we needed an extra heel. We needed an extra someone that could go out and work with guys and teach guys a bit and carry the load when we needed it and stuff like that. And then we had some other guys like Adam Gambino and Justin Cross. When PWA Melbourne or PWA Australia over there was bigger. And was around. We were like, wow, we're getting Gambino and Justin Cross, and everyone was like, who are those guys? And I'm like, you need to read the internet, buddy. What the fuck is the internet? So then we had those guys come over, and that was sort of the start, and from there we had just different guys coming over just to help us, just to really sort of bolster the cards up, and guys like your Jackos and your Silvers, again, we met over interstate working shows, and Jim Ray's, Warship, all those dudes who've come across, Danny Psycho, there's heaps of names, heaps of guys have come over. And then more so recently, guys like your Carlos, Ryan Rollins, and again Matt Silver played a big part in RC Dub.
But is the idea of the academy not to have to do that so much anymore? Or?
Exactly, that's the idea. Like we now, like for your headlining matches and stuff, like we're looking at what are the fights that people really want to see, and like what are the fights that our fans would want to see, like what are going to be, who's going to have, like who are two guys who are going to have absolute amazing chemistry in there, who's going to be able to work the crowd into a frenzy as a heel, who's going to be able to like really get him going as a baby face. Like let's bring in some of the best guys that are going to work with our dudes, you know. But in terms of the academy, like we've always wanted to be self-sufficient. In an ideal world, we wouldn't have to bring over interstate wrestlers, except for Andy, because he's basically from Adelaide.
Yeah, his family.
That's right, his family. Arsehole. Yeah, so yeah, we did have to rely on bolstering up our roster a lot back in the day, but then look, the last maybe 4 years we just we don't really need to. Like it's expensive to get guys over. It's not only just the expense of like a match fee or covering flights or whatever, or bus or whatever. It's also then like, you know, transit to and from the airport when we're doing setups.
Yeah.
Housing. Like if we're bringing multiple dudes over, like who's housing all these people, dudes and dudettes, both guys and girls. We have to sort of house everyone. And again, that's, you know, like it's fine, but like we're so spread out over Adelaide, like it's tough. We go, hey, my gear's over at so and so's.
Yeah.
Can we just go pick it up? Oh yeah, no worries. It's like an hour and 20 minutes drive to go get something. And I know that's not that far in Melbourne and Sydney and stuff, but in Adelaide, that's huge, man. If I'm driving an hour, like I want to be sleeping there, you know.
That's true. I live half an hour away from my work, and when I tell people that, they're like, drive for half an hour. I'm like, wow, you've never been to Sydney, have you?
Drive half an hour to do my shopping.
You're also on the booking team for the company as well as wrestling in it. Mm-hmm. How hard is it keeping that separate? And how much does it factor into your booking decision? I mean, sometimes do you second guess the booking because people think that he's just booking that because it's his brother, or do you know what I mean? Or he's just putting himself on top? Because you do see it in a lot of feds, where whoever's booking it all of a sudden gets a title run.
Definitely. We're here... well, for a start, if anyone was to say to me, like, you're only putting the belt on him because he's your brother, they just have to watch him to know why he's got the belt. Like, that's one thing there. Again, though, our fans are so loyal to what we do. A majority of them come every month. Yeah. Like, we would have a minimum 200 that come every single month and know all of our guys. They know the angles. They watch the guys develop. So, you know, they still see like you know, they've seen like, you know, guys like Ash Ballantyne coming through, and he's trying to find maybe his way. 6 months in, and like, so one of our, like our number 0 member, like he's before the number 1 member, which is the Russian, of course. Little Sam comes up and he goes, that guy's hopeless, right? And his debut, and I've gone, yeah, give him a shot, he'll be okay, you know, give him a shot. And they're coming up to me like last month going, he's starting to come along, you know. But it's not only that, like they're watching these guys develop, and they know who they love, they know who they have grown up with. Yeah. And there's not many guys left who are there, who have been there for like long periods of time, who are still able to keep up and go for long matches and like main events and stuff. Yeah. There's not many guys there that the crowd have a vested interest in wanting to watch in the main events. Yeah. You know?
I must admit, for someone, like, I've never seen someone not want to be champion as much as you at times. Yeah. Like, I'd give it to somebody else.
We've only, and it's shit, like, it's the worst thing, like, it's the worst feeling. But, you know, it's like, at the end of the day, you're still representing the company. Yeah. And it's not just me making these decisions. Let me just stress that out. It's not just me, it's like, it's a majority vote here. So it's who's going to hold the reins for us. Like, what is the crowd going to really, really love? Because at the end of the day, they're the ones paying their tickets, right? And, you know, it's not cheap for a night out if you're taking your whole family out. It's not cheap.
You could put yourself on top every month, but if people don't like it, they're not going to turn up.
Exactly right. Or you could give them what they want to see, and they're going to keep coming. Yeah. Yeah? And that's the idea, is it's trial and error with with stuff, and we just, by now, we should have learnt enough that we shouldn't have to make any mistakes as we have made in the past.
Speaking more of you as a wrestler sort of thing, you've worked with a few international guys now. Your Sanjay Dutts, Kevin Steens, Cole Cabanas.
Yeah.
Can you tell us how much of different is working with those guys? Like, is their style and work rate markedly different, or like higher than the Australian style, or is it all pretty much even now?
Well, the biggest difference that I can firstly say is not actually getting in there and doing it like beforehand, like doing anything. To just talk, just be a talk, just this and this, yeah, cool, this.
Yeah, Adam Pearce said that as well.
Yeah, but it's like, and if you like, I'm watching this series at the moment called Treme. It's about like New Orleans and stuff, and it's about all these traveling, like it's about musicians and stuff finding work after the hurricane.
Yep.
And they're just like, this musician is able to just go and find work. Like, hey, is there a gig on tonight? To this manager, and the manager goes, yeah, cool, go down here. And he'll just walk in and playing in a big band, like in like a 15-piece band, just playing trombone.
Yep.
And they're like, yeah, cool, it's in this chord, it's this track, bang, go. And they just start. There's no rehearsal, there's no nothing, there's no talking. It's like, you're a musician, you know your shit, get in and do it, you know? And it's the same, and we were treated the same by all these guys. You're a wrestler, you know your stuff, let's get in there and do it. Like, let's have a chat about it. Let's go. You know, like, or not even in some cases.
Yeah.
Let's talk when we're out there. And I mean, that's great. Like, I love that. But you know, it's nervous. Like, it's nerve wracking. Like fighting these guys for a start. Like it's, but they're just guys, man. They're just dudes. They're chilled. Like they're relaxed. You know, like I don't think I've heard any of them get upset. Even backstage, like they're all just having fun. They're just wrestling, man. They're doing it because they love it.
Yeah.
And
they're
just
getting paid to be in a different country.
Exactly. They're in a different country. You know, they're fighting someone. If they fight someone awesome, yeah, cool. You know, that's great. And like the feedback you get from them, like they give you like tons of feedback, and you ask all these questions and stuff, and they're happy to answer your questions. Like I don't think we've had a dud guy come over and work.
I remember you telling me about Sanjay saying he wanted to take the fall.
Yeah.
For the mere fact that he's probably not going to be back, whereas...
Yeah, exactly. He was like, yeah, we'll put you guys over.
For
sure, we'll put you guys over. And I was like, oh, sweet, that's awesome. Like, they're just so professional. Like, and anyone that I've had contact with has just been such a professional, like, worker and person. Like, it's just been a pleasure to get in there with. Like, it's still, every time, like, if I'm told, like, hey, this guy wants to use you, you're fighting this guy, like an international, like, wrestler X or something.
Yeah.
I'll still, like, I'm nervous as shit. Like, nervous as, and automatically my training gets completely amped up, and like my diet changes is ridiculous, and like, and I'm going right, you know, dog, you're getting a workout as well, and like me and my little Dachshund, she's running her legs off next to me and stuff, like pounding the pavement. It's yeah, it's just, but it just mentally, like you sort of learn that these guys are just guys, and there's no need to stress. Like you just have a chat to them, shake hands, get to know them, show them the respect that they deserve, and they'll show you the respect that you want and hope to get from these guys. Like it's, good experience.
Moving on to someone you have had a lot of really good matches with, and that's your brother, or as we call the series of matches, Grimmick. Available on DVD.
Available on DVD. I think it's $30 with a free poster, I believe. Signed poster.
Yeah.
Wow.
I remember seeing you signing it.
That's right. Well, there you go. Signed. Done.
There you go. Can you tell us about how you have the matches you have with your brother and how different they are to working like anyone else, really? Because it would be different completely.
It's completely different. Well, growing up with my brother, we obviously had our fights back in the day, but we also played a lot of contact sports together where, like, I get a bit of rage on the footy field if someone takes out one of my brothers. I remember throttling this guy in the throat, like, you know, jumper punching this dude.
Hang on a second.
That is a loud car.
Wow.
That's really loud.
How is he not deaf?
Seriously. Did anyone hear that? That's pretty loud.
That was really loud.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, so like, obviously after like numerous like punch-ups like on the footy field and brawls and stuff, like I've seen Matty get hit and I've seen my older brother Steffo get hit. You sort of know that they can take a bit. Not that I fight Steffo, my older brother. He's not a wrestler. But very nice man, though. Very nice man. Great family. So when we go out and fight, it's just like, you just know that they can take a bit more than normal. Yeah. So
you're not afraid to go a little bit harder because he'll forgive you. It's your brother.
Exactly right. And then you'll get a receipt back for it and stuff. And then there's just more receipts. The rest of the match is just basically IOUs. It's exactly, yeah. But you sort of have an idea, and you go, right, if I'm never going to do this, I know that I'm going to need to be doing it with someone who can do it safely. And the first person I ever think of is Matty. Yeah. The first time I did the powerbomb over the top rope to the floor and stuff like that sort of shit, that was with Matty. The big powerbomb off the stage to the tables, that was he didn't want to do it. But I was like, it'd be fine. It'd be great. Right. Yeah, I'll be fine. I'll sit up. It'll be good. All the curb stomps and stuff, when he was really loose on them originally. I said, man, you're fine. Just stomp. And then, you sort of half black out. And you go, oh, it was a bit tough. Lighten up on that one. But yeah, it's a pleasure to work with him because he's got so many ideas. And he is such a visionary in the ring in terms of his, some of the spots that guy can put together are so, complex. I think it was named, he had a series of matches with Andy, and we called it the Jackie Chan spot. Because it was just ridiculous. It's an action scene. It's not a wrestling match. Yeah. There was no wrestling moves thrown. It was like an action scene. In like a 5-minute segment of this match. It was crazy. It was a tables match.
Oh wow!
And it was just nuts. It was so stupid, man. It was the best thing ever. Probably not the best thing ever. I'm sure there's a lot of things out there better than that spot. Exactly. But it was very good. Definitely top 10 plus. Fighting him was great because we go out there and I think the crowd sort of connect pretty well with both of us. When he was a heel as well, they were really digging that shtick. But I think with his news, since we've sort of both grown up a bit and learnt to work a bit more, not for the boys out the back, a bit more for the crowd. Yep. I think if we did that series again, it would be completely different. There'd be a lot of stuff in there that we wouldn't have done in the first match because we had to try and top it in the second one. Yeah. And the second one was a straight wrestling match, in that series, and that was sort of tough. It was the story that we told. It was good. The match was still fine. At the end, it was cool and stuff, and the crowd still dug it. But I just, you thought it could have been so much more. Yeah. Could have been something different.
I've told you this before, but it was the last match you had against your brother for the number one contendership. Oh, yeah, when you got your head cut, I think it was.
That's right.
That
bloody
match,
Rocky, huh?
that match was the one that convinced Big Brody Marshall and I to start training with the RCW Academy because we were hooked. We'd only been really to 3 shows or 2 shows before that one.
Took you 2 shows to get hooked?
I know, right? I'm sorry about that.
What were we doing wrong?
But we were sitting there and I think we were looking through a program going, you can actually train. And Brody was like, really? Yeah, you can train. It's like, well, we'll watch the rest of this card and see how we go. Yeah. And the main event with used to, after that we were walking out and I said to him, before I voodooed him, I said to him, that match could easily be an ROH main event. It could easily pass on an ROH card. It was that good. And if we want to get trained, we don't want to get trained and just be the fat dudes that walk out and throw really lame punches, and because that's what, and a lot of times will turn people off local wrestling when they go out and see those guys. For sure. Whereas that's what separated with us. I think, and I might get heat over this, if we'd have gone to a snake pit show first.
Heat.
I know. Yeah. I don't think we would have went to any other indie shows. Yeah. The fact that we went to the RCW show and had the lights, had the presentation, had the, and then had the characters to back it up. Yeah. Really sort of, that's what got us both, I think, into wrestling, and your match in particular.
Yeah, right. Well, thanks. Well, in saying that though, they're 2 completely different brands. Yeah. And 2 completely different styles.
Yeah. Well, that's what I think that your style appeals to more someone of my age.
For sure. And that's the age, that's what we're going for. Yeah. Whereas what they're doing out at Snakepit is they're aiming at your family entertainment.
Yeah, exactly.
Multiple shows a month. They're doing, at one point in time, they're doing 4 shows a month. Yeah. And that's crazy. but they're getting like, they're getting consistent people through the doors.
Yeah.
It's just aimed at a different sort of crowd. Whereas, like, if you had gone to one of those shows, you're probably right. You're exactly right. You probably wouldn't have gone to another one.
No.
Because it's not what you were looking for.
No, exactly. Because I watch the ROH and I watch the...
Exactly right. Yeah, but to your casual fan who's never seen it before, who's never even heard of local wrestling, they could be like, hey, wow.
Yeah.
Check this out.
Speaking of your brother and the series matches you had with him, you've also recently, well, not recently, it's been a year now, you hold the NHPW tag titles with your brother. Tell me what that's like having fought him for ages and now like you're a tag team, and it's not only a tag team but you win a belt and it's with your brother.
Yep.
Tell me what that's like.
It's amazing. That was potentially one of the best feelings I've had in wrestling.
It's like winning a premiership sort of thing?
Yeah, sort of. It was like full circle for us, like we'd been through this and that, and we'd, fighting interstate, and we'd done this and that, and like locally, and I've just said this and that a few times, we'll say it again, rah, rah, rah. But so, we'd done a lot of stuff together, and we'd won like footy premierships together, like we've lost like a lot of stuff together as well, like a lot of big things, and then just, I don't know, we didn't go out there and, dominate and win this thing like shoot. Like, but when we were told about that was like one of the greatest feelings for me I've ever had. It was just to do something like that with your brother, which I've never had the chance to do over here. So we've never really had the chance to tag together over here. We've always been on either side of the roster, like faces and heels.
Card.
Exactly right. It's definitely something I'd love to do in the future, to be to tag with Matty. But that was just great. It was a great feeling going out there, and like we'd obviously done heaps of tags at training and stuff together. And
are you heading over this year?
Yeah, we're going over on February the 7th and 8th. We're part of the tournament, SST Legacy Cup tournament, which again was such an honour to be a part of, and the fact that we'd never been over there and worked before. Like our first match got an okay response. Like it was fine. Like it was, they popped what they needed to and stuff, and that was good. Like we worked to different styles at RCW a little, and then the first match on night 2, it was again sort of a slightly different crowd. This is a different venue, different area of Perth. They dug that too. That was really good. We were working with like Jay Taylor and stuff over there. That was really cool. Jay Taylor and Twitch, one of the EPW guys. He was really, really cool. It was good fun to work with them. They got a great response. Definitely love to work with those two again. By the main event, they were just eating it up, and we obviously did something right over there. And Mana had a lot of faith in us, which was great. Like, and I'll be forever grateful for him.
And you have the potential this year of maybe taking on the American Wolves if you get through the final.
Potentially.
If they get through the final.
If they get through. I think they have a bye in the first round.
Well, of course they are. They're the Wolves.
Wolves get a bye. Where's the bye for the Bassos, eh? We're going to buy all the way through to the title. With the easiest payday ever. But yeah, man, I can't wait to get over there again. Got a lot of respect for all the guys over there, like Brian and Mana and all the rest of the support staff over there. It's just it's great to see like what they're sort of starting to get going, and obviously the vision that they've got together. It's really starting to get some momentum. It's good.
And speaking of tag titles, and you knew I was going to ask you this question because I always knew about it. RCW has, like, you've got the Armstrongs, which held the MCW tag titles not long ago.
Yeah, the Armstrongs, they're not bad.
Yeah, they're not bad.
They're okay.
They've got you guys who've held the NHPW tag titles.
Yeah, we're not too bad.
You've got Adam Brooks and Johnny Barnes. Adam Brooks is currently the Warzone champion and the MCW tag champ.
Who's that?
Adam Brooks.
Oh.
It's a guy you've got coming up. Yeah.
Ah, Brooksy, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
You got those two as a tag team as the Blue Healers. I mean, you've got a lot of really good tag teams on your roster. RCW, when is RCW going to get tag championships? Or are they?
Well, look, Todd, I'm not going to say
never
now, and I'm not going to say never. I would really love to see a fully functioning tag division in RCW. The response that we get from our crowd for tag matches is great. Multi-man and stock standard tag matches. The focus that we put on it as well at training is really high. And I think that we do have some amazing talent there. Like, I think Barnesy and Brooksy are they are so entertaining as heels.
Yeah.
Like, they're great. They're really, really good. You got to tell them to calm down all the time. Like, Great response from the crowd. And they're both great workers. They're both really top dudes. You know, like I'd love to see those guys heavily involved. I'd love to see the Armstrongs heavily involved. Like again, you know, they've really only started hitting their stride since they dropped the masks from back in their day.
The EPW.
Yeah, back when they first started. Like they've really started to hit their stride and have come good. Like as a result of, you know, just being the Armstrongs. You know, like they were. Like we had a lot of great tag teams that have just recently split up as well. Like the Rude ones. Like they're done. But they, you know, they were going for like 5 years over here or something. Like they were huge. They were great. If we had tag titles, they would have been it. They would have had no one to challenge them until the Armstrong dropped up. You know.
Oh, poor Benchies.
Yeah, I know. The Benchies, but they were around after the Armstrongs.
Yeah, were.
Exactly. The guys like Sex Rock as well. They were used to be local, and then obviously with Sexton not living in Adelaide anymore, it makes that tough. But like, there's, you know, we got so much talent that we can do there. I think myself and Brody as well, we go all right.
You go all right.
We go all right. Hey, me and Brody. I mean, he's a pleasure to work with. But yeah, mate, I would love to see tag titles in Riot City by the end of the year.
There you go. So if you're hearing it, Riot City fans, if you want tag titles, hit up their Facebook page and let them know about it.
For shiz.
Now, questions I always ask, though, because it's just like stock standard ones, everyone asks everyone. Tell me the favourite guys you've worked with.
Okay.
Aside from your brother.
Aside from my brother.
Yeah, because that's the number one. You got to walk up starter right there.
Do you count announcing me and stuff?
Well, if you want.
Yeah. We have some matches before training and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, but you just kept joking around. Remember?
That's right. Yeah, I remember.
I was hitting on the outside and you just kept fawning over everyone else. Can you come back so I can hit you, please?
Okay, so I really enjoyed working with both the Rude ones, both in tags and individual. They were both great, like a lot of fun. Obviously, having trained Torino, like, you know, we sort of gelled pretty well. Marvel as well, coming in and doing some retraining with us and stuff. That was just great. You know, so much knowledge there. Like, it's great to just bounce ideas off of. I loved working Damon Matthews back in the day. The IMF, as he was never known. I don't know why I said that. I think he was known that for one point in time. That's how we met him. But yeah, he was great. It was like fighting Voodoo or my brother. Like, we were really good mates and we could just stiff each other solid, and we loved that stiff style back then. And that was, you know, where we decided to go, and a few chipped teeth later, and we decided to sort of loosen off a bit. He was great. Working with Voodoo's been great. He's just come on leaps and bounds since he's moved to Melbourne. Funny that. Yeah. No, he's really coming into his own. He's really finding his stride. Guys as well that I have worked quite a bit. Matt Silver, from Interstate. Love working with him. He was great.
Places, you know.
He
I don't know where he is now, but
yeah, I know he's had a bit of a hiatus from wrestling. I think he's having a bit of a break.
He's a good buddy though.
Yeah, good buddy of yours. Puns.
Hey.
I'm not your buddy, guy. I'm not your guy, friend. As well, his Proto J, Adam Brooks.
Yes.
Brooksy. That top flog. He's great fun to work. We've had this year, we've fought a couple of times already in tags, and
you've got another one upcoming.
We've got another one coming up. It's going to be great. Fingers crossed we'll tear the roof off the place for the Warzone title. It's on the 18th of January at the Estonian Hall.
There you go.
Tickets available at RiotCityWrestling.com.
This is the big ad for you. Did my impersonation then?
Yeah, I know. It was good, wasn't it? It was good. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Todd Eastman.
Oh God.
Are you American all of a sudden?
Yeah.
But yeah, like experience in Riot City has been mainly with local guys. Like I had the chance to fight Sexton a number of times, which was great. We had some really, really cool matches. We also had some really shit matches back in the day, but we had a couple of real barn burners.
There you go.
I think you could call them.
You can say it. Yeah, you can say
it. Back a couple of years ago, had a little angle with Rocky there. That was great. Like, he was just, again, so easy to work with. Just, it's Rocky, man. Like, you just talk and work and have fun and joke around while you're out there. I think that's the whole idea. It was good, man. Like, it was a great experience. And then again, another big one who has come on leaps and bounds Tama.
Yeah.
Tama, like when we first worked with Tama, when we first saw him, like we thought, yeah, he was cool. Like, we booked him mainly because he was a Kiwi. And we're like, this is awesome. Like, we've never had a Kiwi over here before. This is rad. And then he came over and he's, we worked with him first time. And
I'd like to see him work there now, especially with his size.
Yeah, for sure.
He's put on so much bulk since then.
Well, he was always tall.
Yeah, but
and he was always solid.
Yeah.
But he never used to lift at all.
No.
Now look at him now.
I know.
It's crazy. He never used to lift. When we first met him, the guy, he was like, he had no clue with weights. He was like, just getting started. Now he's a personal trainer and stuff.
Yeah.
Eating like 4 horses a day. 12 kilos of rice. But yeah, he it's just great to see him develop from what he was. And like, I didn't even see him when he was shit. Like, I saw him when he was okay.
Yeah.
Like, so I can imagine what he was like, like I was, like we all were back when we were shit.
Yeah.
But from what he was there to where he is now and what he's doing now, is an absolute credit to his work ethic and his training. It's great to see.
Okay. Guys that you'd love to work both here and say just dream matches sort of thing.
Yep. Okay. Can I just add one as well?
Yeah.
That I've had countless matches with, and we don't even need to talk now. Is Brad, actually.
Okay.
Should have said that before, because he is someone, like, if we have a match, we may catch up 2 minutes before going out the curtain or something. It is just, we fought that much in like a whole bunch of local shows that aren't really advertised to RCW fans.
Yeah.
Like our fundraising shows.
Yeah. That last one
that sort of stuff.
Was great.
That was great, man. Like, he's just such a solid worker now. He's learnt so much from working with heaps and heaps of people, and his confidence is just growing and growing and growing, and he's just constantly taking feedback off everyone, and he's just getting better and better and better. And the guy is, like, he's great. If he was bigger,
yeah,
if he wasn't about to give birth, not himself, but his lovely partner,
yeah, his lovely partner.
I won't say her name, but if his lovely partner wasn't about to, they weren't expecting their first child, like, Brad should have been 7 kilos heavier and overseas.
Yeah.
Because he has all the talent in the world, and he is great fun to work with. Now, back to your second question.
Second question, yes.
People that I'd love to work with.
Yeah.
A big one for me, I'd love to work with Jay Taylor from Perth, like in singles, because I think he just oozes charisma, and he's sensational. I think he'll do really well over here in Adelaide, working our style. But I'd fight anyone, anywhere. Like, he would be. I just think he'd be really good. We've fought in a tag once, and that was, it wasn't much. We didn't get to do much together, but just I think the chemistry that was sort of shown there. I feel that we could definitely do a lot more. Love to work with him. From Perth as well. Obviously, love to work with Dave Storm. He's just a top worker. He's just the workhorse over there, the trendsetter, pace setter, whatever you want to call it. I think our styles would work really well together. I'd love to work him. Some of the new guys over in Melbourne, like, I'd love to even say, like, a Josh Extreme. I can see a lot of potential in Josh. Like, I only saw like one match of his back the other week. Yeah, the other month. Saw one of his matches. I think that he'd do really well. I see a lot of like the potential that we saw in Shooter and Brooksy in him. Like,
Yeah, Shooter's come along a hell of a lot in the last 12 months.
Man, he's great. He's great. Really, really good. But just some of these guys are just, they're just hanging for a break. And like, I think like JXT's working with MCW now over there, and that's really good. He's just going to be learning and pushing himself constantly and stuff. Like, he'll be one to watch in the future. I'd definitely like to work with him in the future. Definitely like to work with a few Sydney guys as well, like Mick Moretti.
Yeah.
I think he's great. He's sensational.
Yeah, I'd like to see him work.
Jay Law. Really want to work with Jay. It'd be really, really awesome. I had a match once with Ryan Eagles years ago in Canberra.
Yeah.
It was probably alright. I can't remember it. If you're listening to this, if it was any good, just let me know. But it was probably horrible on my behalf. But yeah, like, he'd be another one. I'd like to get in and roll around with Ryan Eagles and Robbie as well.
Yep.
And Jack Bonza from Sydney as well. He's another great one. But I think the one if there's one dream match that I'd really like to get out, like in Riot City, I think it would get over a treat, would be Damien Slater. Would be to fight Slater, because I think he can bring a lot to the table that our fans would love to see. And I think myself and him, like we did fight once back in 2004 at Port Adelaide, I believe. Waterside Workers Hall. Can't remember the date.
I was going to say, wow.
Wow.
7:30.
7:30. God, cards started early back then. Yeah. So I would love to get another match with him. I think we'd really tear the roof off the place in the right context. I think we'd I just like his work rate. He's got a great look. He's obviously got a wealth of knowledge from his international experience and stuff. He's someone that I'd really love to just get in and just absorb a bunch of information and just learn everything I can from the guy. And I think I'd just have a really good match, just a really good fun match together. Yeah. For sure.
All right. And to round it out, last question: what are the future ambitions for you and for Riot City Wrestling as a whole?
Okay, future ambitions for me. I would like to continue to progress around Australia over here. I've only fought once up in Queensland. I'd like to go work over there. I'd love to get over to Victoria a little more. Got a lot of good friends over there. Always enjoy a trip over there. Just to move around Australia as much as I can. But at the same token, really start to develop something good over here. Like, there is definitely a resurgence in wrestling, in the quality of the shows, quality of the production, just the quality of everything, like the work rate of the guys, the support staff that we have. Like in RC Dub, for instance, it is second to none, the amount of staff that we have working our shows. Like, it's crazy. Like, when Joe is doing a rundown at the start of the night with all the staff, you just look at them and you go, we have how many?
When they say non-wrestling people, please come over here. And
and you're going, whoa,
Jesus.
like, wow. And that is just a huge credit to what we're trying to create with this family atmosphere. And these guys are in there, and like, a lot of them are rookies, but a lot of them aren't rookies.
No,
you know, a lot of them
getting paid. They're not their time.
Exactly, they're volunteering. They're being support staff because they believe in what we're putting on. You know, like, we have do we have any like partners working shows? I don't think so. It's not like the old girlfriend working the bar or the mum working the door or anything.
I think Dell's partner occasionally does.
Yeah, right. But I mean, we just have like a great. It's not just
we
a
have
great
cousins and stuff like that work.
Do we?
Yeah, Wheelers.
Oh, the Wheelers, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Love the Wheelers.
Love the Wheelers. Come on, Mikey, get back to training.
Next week.
Next week, that's good.
Next week.
Good. But yeah, like, I just really want to keep creating and pushing RCW as much as we can. And if it turns out that the best thing for SA Wrestling is to create a bit more of a working relationship amongst different promotions, then so be it. Like, I want what's best for wrestling and the growth of wrestling, especially in South Australia. And if I can do my part for that, as I get into like the sort of latter years of
the
twilight years of the career, because I'm not going to be going around till I'm like 50 or anything or whatever. I would love to, like, by the time like I'm ready to hang up the boots, so to speak, and sort of take a step back, and I can be one of those support staff. Then I want to see.
That's when we make you GM.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Tag team match.
And I'll just copy you.
Yeah,
it's good.
Yeah, smart.
How do you do it? You grab the mic, hold the mic about here.
Yeah.
Not that you could see that.
You rest it sort of on your chin.
Rest it on the chin.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen. It's not bad. I can get used to that. Okay, anyway, so by the time that I'm ready to do that, I would hope that RCW is at a level where it is big. Like, I don't want to hear anymore, is there wrestling in Adelaide?
Yeah.
Like, how many thousands of fans go to watch WWE?
Yeah, I know. This has been my argument since day one.
And it's not just us, but if we're all out there pumping flyers, and if there's a flyer in every person's hand that leaves that arena, how do they still not know that there is? Do they just not pay attention?
Well, how do they not decide to take a chance on it?
Yeah, but it's a gamble. You know, it's like going to see a local band.
Yeah.
You know, you could be all about like going and loving heavy metal or loving hip hop, but when was the last time you went to what sort of music you like, Todd?
Just sort of like indie rock.
Indie rock. When was the last time you went to an indie rock gig?
About 2 months ago.
Shut up.
When was the last time? India?
Yeah, I know you did. I know. I actually knew that. That was a big fail, all right, on my behalf there. But take a chance. If anyone out there is listening, you're more than likely a wrestling fan to begin with, or you're an RCW fan, or you're a fan of me, which is highly unlikely.
Yeah. Really.
But, exactly. Absolute worst bloke. But if you're not, or even if you want to see wrestling in South Australia and Australia grow, please spread the word, spread the love, because we, Riot City and myself and everyone involved, even all the guys at the other promotions around South Australia, we don't have money for TV. No. We don't have money for TV advertising. It's just not financially viable yet.
No.
Radio advertising, it's never been proven to us that it's worked. We've all tried it before.
Well, you've got a guy that's on radio, breakfast radio. It's a part of 01 shows.
Yeah.
And still, you hardly ever hear it on that radio.
How are we going to make that next step? And I want to be there for when that next step is made, because it will happen.
Yeah. In
our lifetime, it will.
I've always said, how they can get 15 to 20,000 to a WWE show at the Entertainment Centre.
For sure.
How do we not get at least 1,000 getting out to other shows?
Well, I believe PC Dub over in Melbourne just recently drew 1,000.
Yeah.
Or over 1,000. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That is ridiculous. That's unheard of. That sort of stuff is
not since the early 90s when the whole Attitude Era.
Yeah.
Do you think maybe
that's... Late 90s.
Yeah. Do you think maybe that's more a strong... The local indie, scene... I hate using that word.
Scene.
Can only be as strong as what the WWE is at that time?
Well, potentially. But here's the thing. About 40% of our fans that come in aren't wrestling fans. They're fans of the products that we put on. And they've been dragged there by someone else.
Cheap beer.
And cheap beer. Exactly right. That was good.
Thanks.
Poured all the beers. That was good.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Right. So, we need to keep drawing on those people. But I think what worked for Pro Wrestling South Australia back in the day. There was no one else around. So there was no one else promoting local wrestling.
Yeah.
They were promoting up in Elizabeth, where there was a huge. I think the area was just into it back then, but they promoted that territory hard, and for a long time, and they built up. They were drawing 700-800 people, but that, and then the Octagon Theatre closed, and that sort of went to shit, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But there's no reason why you couldn't do that again. There's no reason why you couldn't build up an area, and get these people out of their houses on a Saturday night, off the couch, come down, watch some cheap entertainment, and get them in there, and get them hooked.
That's one thing I will say about Snake Pit trying to go down south. I think that's a great idea. I think south is huge. A massively untapped area.
It's huge
because everyone picks. Mm-hmm. Everyone goes we focus a lot on the North Adelaide sort of area.
Yeah, and Wayville now.
And Wayville, and I think the amount of people that live at Aldinga, Seaford.
It's huge.
This is very local for an Australian show, but sort of there's a southern area of Adelaide or South Australia sort of thing.
It's very long, Adelaide. There's north and there's south.
Yes.
East and west don't really exist.
No, there's not so much a town as it is just a lot of suburb.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think that is a hugely untapped market. And I think the only reason we didn't draw that well the last time we went down there is because we didn't promote it that well.
We didn't promote it as well as we could have, no. But again, it was coming off the back of a couple of other shows. And, and it really comes down to this. If we wanted to make it work.
Proud for that one.
Oh, there you go.
Sitting next to Josh as he was commentating.
Oh, there you go.
Now I'm stuck there.
Well, it's your own fault, brother.
Yeah, I know.
If we really wanted to make that work, it would have worked.
Yeah.
If we really set our mind to something and we really, really want to do it, and the whole whatever company you're with, right? If you have a great work ethic from your crew and you all have the same belief and you've got the same vision and you've got the same drive, there is no reason why you can't make it, and you can't make something really awesome happen. And I'm not talking 200 to 300.
Yeah.
I'm talking you break the mold. You've got to be there's got to be one company that is going to break the mold, and that is going to look outside the box, and they're going to start to draw big, whatever it's going to be.
Sort of what's it?
Like what Wrestle Clash is sort of doing over there. I think that, I don't know the full story behind it, but I believe it's at the same venue.
Yeah.
Again, so they're building on this territory.
Yeah.
you know.
But they do a totally different style.
Or maybe that's the way wrestling needs to be. You know, maybe it doesn't have to be so traditional. Maybe we're the traditionalists hanging on to it. Maybe there needs to be X amount of it, traditional stuff, X amount full-on Chikara style luchador, and then X amount of hardcore stuff, you know? Maybe there needs to be a tables match in every single fight to try and draw, you know, that extra 30 people in, because they'll bring their mates. Oh, you're really into to see this one, rah, rah, rah. Yeah. Whatever it is, someone's got to try something different, and we've got to try and break that mold, because like wrestling in Australia could be really big. It has the potential now with the talent, like the guys' physiques, their gear.
Well,
like
never
the
before
standards.
have we seen so many of them, so many of us going international.
International, exactly right.
Like
and doing well over there, not just going over.
Yeah,
they're doing well.
Rollins is doing really well over in Mexico.
Tama,
I think he's in Mexico.
TMDK.
I hear a rumor he's in Mexico.
Yeah, what? Who?
Yeah, who?
Where?
I don't know.
Mexico.
Yeah.
Where's that?
I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah, I think. But the main point is to get out there and really do support the local product. As much as you love watching your WWEs, it's nothing like seeing actual wrestling live.
Exactly right.
And that's what got me hooked.
That's right.
Actually going to see it live.
And if you've got a passion for this industry, there's got to be something that you can do for it.
Yeah.
You know? But please, if you're going to do it in the right way. Like, I really love what you guys are doing here. I'm not sucking up to you because you're doing this interview. But when these guys were like, yeah, we're going to do this podcast, and they first started it through
Wrestle Hustle.
Through Wrestle Hustle.
Marek, yep.
We thought, yeah, that's great. You know, like we'd been pushing Josh to try and do something like this for years, and I think it's great. Like, I've heard your product. I think it's really good. It's a pleasure for me to be a part of it. Like, I'm really honoured that you guys have got me on the show. However many times I was dodging a bullet, you know. But you know, if there's more guys like you, if there's more guys like you know, Team Submit out there, busting their ass, putting in the hard yards, supporting the guys that are actually in the ring doing it.
Yeah.
You know, like if you're not able to get in there and do it yourself, if you still want to be a part of it, there's no reason why you couldn't do something.
Yeah.
There's no reason why what you can offer is not going to benefit the industry in some way.
The one thing I think is different about our show as to a lot of other Australian wrestling podcasts is that we don't go for the dirt. We just want to promote it. We don't want to tear it down.
For sure, man. Find some stories.
Yeah, exactly. There's more good stories than there are bad.
Yeah.
And if you just focus on that,
easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
Anyway, sir, I've held you way too long.
I'm really sorry. I sort of went over a bit.
No,
overboard there,
that's fine.
I apologise if any of that sounded a bit, you know, demons, but you know, I don't really know what to say. I'm sorry.
Oh dear.
I'm talking to a microphone. I'm actually looking at it.
I know you are.
Looks like a Dalek.
It's weird. It's awesome, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good.
Submit. Cook it, submit.
Cookie. Submit. Get on that. That's right.
Submit apparel. New I Heart Grim shirts.
Exactly. Sensational shirts. We want some more Josh Shooter wristbands.
Yes.
Chris MIMIC Basso has lost his.
Oh, really?
No, it broke.
Oh, dear.
He's sold out.
Oh, really? Wow, he was trying to give them away a year ago. See,
well, maybe he just gave them out.
That tells you how he's turned around.
That's
now.
right.
He couldn't give them away before, and now he's sold out.
Yep.
Well done, Shooter.
I remember he gave Matty a black one, and he was like, yeah, I got one black one. I got it made for Matty. And Matty left it on the side of the ring, and he found it, and he was like, Matty, I found your wristband.
Oh, no.
He was heartbroken.
Oh, dear.
It was funny as. Anyway.
All right, Elaboration Nation is now closed.
If you're still listening, thanks.
Yeah, Chris MIMIC Basso, thank you so much for joining me today. And of course, catch him and all the other guys from Right City Wrestling, myself included, on January the 18th at the Estonian Hall for Reanimated. Get your tickets, rightcitywrestling.com/tickets.
/tickets.
Or hit us up on the Facebook page. There's generally always a link to get tickets from there. Chris, thank you very much for joining me, mate.
Thanks for having me, and thanks for listening.